So for this video, I just want to focus on the heroines from worst to best. And let's start with the worst one. And that is going to be Princess Sarah. Yeah, she is the worst heroine in Final Fantasy history. She doesn't do anything. She's just there for plot device. She makes Lunafreya look more useful. Yes, there's nothing more to say about Princess Sarah. She's just there. The second worst one has to be Lunafreya. She's also there. She only does one thing right, and that one thing is just basically helping Noctis. And she's so bland. Like, this character has zero personality whatsoever. Where's this character? Where's Stella? Stella has more personality than Lunafreya. I actually wanted to see more of Stella than Lunafreya. I wanted to see this version of Lunafreya. She has more spark and personality than Lunafreya. She even seems more useful. She seems cuter, she seems more bubbly with a personality, but we had to get the one where she's just so boring and she doesn't do anything. Yeah, we had to get stuck with the worst one. She hardly appears in a game, she doesn't really do anything, we can't even get to play as her. And you're gonna tell me that her death is gonna be very emotional when she hardly even appears in the game? No, no, not Lunafreya. I don't like her. I know there's people out there that will defend her and they like her, but no, that she is without a doubt one of the worst Final Fantasy heroines. Her death will have more meaning, and we get to play as her, and if she came out more. Yeah, I didn't really see any interesting in this character. I didn't see any interest in this game either. Like, how am I supposed to feel a sort of way if there's no appeal to this character, and she hardly shows up? Yeah, she's without a doubt one of the second worst Final Fantasy heroines. Fuck this character. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so Rosa is actually better than the last two, but she gets captured a lot. She's a very supportive person to Cecil, even though Cecil is doing a lot of horrible things. She is the first Final Fantasy heroine, and I don't think Princess Sarah counts because she doesn't really do shit, but Rosa, she actually does a lot of things. And you're probably wondering why she's so low on the list is because there are better heroines out there than Rosa. I'm not saying that she's shit, but I'm just saying that she could have been better. Like, she's a sweet character. I like that about her. She's very supportive. But she gets captured for the majority of the game, and yeah, that's a big flaw is when a heroine gets captured way too much. She is a pretty strong healer, though. I mean, she's not a horrible character, but she is kind of boring. For the majority of the time, she's just worried about everything. But she is supported about Kain and Cecil, so I guess that's something. Yeah, so when Kain is being brainwashed, she actually helps him out, so I wonder why those two didn't end up together. I prefer her with Kain, honestly. Alright, let's move to the next one. So for this game, there are two heroines, Lena and Faris. But to be honest, I think Lena is the main heroine. Lena's actually okay, she's a sweethearted character. But she hardly even speaks in the game. For the majority of Lena's stories, it's basically her and her sister having dialogue together. She is pretty brave though, she does help the dragon when the dragon is wounded. She is the nicest character in the entire game. She's very supportive about everybody, especially Bartz and her sister. And she has a very beautiful theme. Yeah, one thing I really like about Lena is her theme song. It just fits her character too much. You have all these crazy-ass characters, and then there's Lena. Most relaxed character in the group, and the most precious one. What else more is there to say about Lena? She's just a beautiful soul. That's it. Next, we got Garnet. Garnet is pretty bland. She does have good character development. She's a pretty bland character. She starts off very, very bland, but over the time, you start to like her more. Her and Zidane are like one of my favorite Final Fantasy couples. She's without a doubt one of the strongest summoners in Final Fantasy history. Alongside Yuna, she's probably, Tai alongside her. And the reason why she's so bland is because she's been a shut-in her entire life. Yeah, she's a hermit princess. She doesn't know how to interact with people. And it's thanks to Zidane why she's so open at the end of the game. She is pretty dorky at first, but then she starts growing on you more and more. You do feel bad for her at first because her mom is trying to brainwash her. And since she's a very naive person, she doesn't know what the hell is going on. She's a very sweet character, a very emotional character. She's a dorky character. I like Garnet, she's very sweet. Although she's very shy, and I'm not really into, the shy type. Yeah, when a character is that shy, I don't really like that character at all, because when a character is that shy, I can't stand them. Yeah, but she's better than the other princesses that I talked about before. She's better than Rosa, she's better than Sarah, she's better than Lunafreya, she's even better than Lena. But Garnet's just, she's just perfect. Better than the other ones. She's better written. She has more, personality than the other ones. She's shy, but she becomes more dorky by the end of the game. But her and Zidane, though. Her and Zidane are just, one of the cutest couples ever. The girl just sang a whole song for him, just for him to return, and that's why I ship it. But that's a whole nother video. I probably would make a video about, who are my favorite Final Fantasy pairs. Alright, so moving along from Garnet, I gotta talk about the next character. Okay, so for this game, there's 3 heroines, Fran, Penelo, and Ash. And Ash is basically the most important character in Final Fantasy 12. So this game is actually okay, but the thing is that it's trying to be like Final Fantasy 6 with the whole who is the protagonist, and we already know Ash is the protagonist of this game. She is the most important character in Final Fantasy 12, alongside Balthier. She's no different than Garnet, but at least she's more like useful in a way. I was gonna choose Fran or Penelo, but then again, I don't really like those two as characters because they're kind of boring, and Ash is actually the most interesting character to me. Her entire story is just trying to get the Empire together. She lost her husband, and now her kingdom's actually been, taken over by the Empire, and so she has to do whatever she can in order to get her kingdom back. So Balthier is over here testing her to see if she could do whatever she can in order to do and save people, which means sacrifice the things that she loves. Yeah, these two are just basically Han Solo and Princess Leia. She is my favorite character in Final Fantasy XII, alongside Balthier. These two are just like, they're the most interesting character in the entire game. Ash starts very hesitant about things, but then she just starts becoming more like a queen. She is bland, but, she's interesting in a way that the other characters aren't. She actually does her job as a ruler. She already starts off amazing and interesting, and that's why I like Ash. Out of all the other characters in Final Fantasy XII, Ash is my favorite one. Like, the girl just comes out kicking ass when you first meet her, and she's just like, I just fell in love with her because she's such a great character. Okay, let's move on to the next character. Next character that a lot of people have mixed feelings about. Yes, Lightning Farron. I have mixed feelings about this character. I don't really like her, but I don't really hate her either. She's just so... Most of these characters that I'm naming, they're very bland. Lightning is very boring. She starts off as a hissy bitch at first. And, she's still kind of like... She has no personality at the end of the game still. But I understand why she starts off like that. It's because her sister is going through something. And she wouldn't be going through anything if she just accepted her sister. So basically it's all her fault. She is extremely toxic to Sarah. And you're probably thinking, why is she higher than Ash and the other characters? It's because she does go through a lot in these, these 3 trilogy games that I do not give a shit about. One thing I do like about Lightning is because when she punches the shit out of Snow, and Snow is a horrible character, that just makes me so happy. She is a very sexy character, but the thing is that she's just so boring. But she does go through a lot in these 3 games. She basically is the hero of this entire story, and she goes through hell because she has to save humanity. She is probably one of the strongest Final Fantasy characters that there is. And I'm glad they're trying to do something new with a female protagonist, but the thing is that she lacks empathy for other people. She could have more emotion like Beatrice or Lulu or any other character, but she's just so aggressive. And I guess that's something that just turns off people, is that she's just too aggressive and too toxic. She's no different than Squall and Cloud. She's very emo. Although Cloud is a better protagonist and Squall is just basically an emo little bitch, but still. She is an amazing fighter, and that's something I like about her. But the thing is that I just do not like bland characters whatsoever. Sarah is a better character than Lightning. I honestly think that Fang should have been the protagonist other than Lightning. But then again, she is pretty hot, so I can't say no to that. So yeah, when it comes to Lightning, I have mixed feelings about this character. She's whatever. I mean, I don't really like her, but she could have been like Terra in a way. Like, I do not care how many outfits you give her and how hot she looks. You need to give her personality. That's something that's number 1 important to a character, is personality. So I know for the moment I've been naming a bunch of bland characters, but now we gotta talk about good characters. So next on the list is Rinoa. She's also another character I have mixed feelings about. Do I hate her? No. She's actually pretty cool. She's a very strong magic user. My only flaw with Rinoa is that for the majority of the game, she gets captured. Yeah, she's basically just like a Dasball in distress. Although, she is a very fun character to use. She's very funny, she's quirky, she's basically Aerith and Tifa put together. Which is perfect to me because I like both girls. She is a spoiled brat princess, and she does get whatever she wants at the beginning of the game, and she does start very hesitant and sort of annoying, but later on she starts to grow on you. For the majority of this game, it's basically just a big romance for Squall and Rinoa, and it only focuses on those two. What I like about her is that she does help Squall get out of his shell more. But what I don't really like about her is that she doesn't really do much. She's just there for like plot and basically to be a romance for Squall. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Quistis was a better romance option. I mean, yeah, I like Rinoa, but Quistis was just better, honestly. Like, no hate to her. She is a fun character. She's okay, but she's just whatever at the same time. If she did not get captured for the majority of the entirety of the game, then yes, I would actually like her so much more. Because for the majority of the game, she's just basically a plot. Like, I know I explained that before, but she's just there. She doesn't really do much. And she's also there just for Cypher and Squall to have, like, more of a love triangle, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no point for the love triangle anyway. I mean, we already know who's gonna end up with who, so it doesn't really matter. So anyway, let's go to the next character. So the next one is Sarah. And I have so many things to say about Sarah. Sarah is actually a very great character. She is a way better character than Lightning. Yeah, I know Lightning goes through a lot, but Sarah also goes through a lot. She goes through certain deaths. She knew she was gonna die, and she still went on. That's a great character. Yeah, you could argue with me how much you want that Lightning is a better character, but to me, I think Sarah is just a way better written character. Way better than in the first game. In the first game, she's just a plot device. She doesn't really do anything. She doesn't do shit for the entirety of the first game. In the first game, she's just a love interest for Snow, and she's just there because of plot, nothing more, or it's just like, it doesn't really matter to me, and I didn't really care about her in the first game, because she was, I don't know, she was just whatever. I didn't care about her. But in the second game, oh boy, the second game, just for her and Noel to go through a lot of things together, and I appreciate Sarah so much more in this game. The girl will literally sacrifice herself just to save Noel. She's very annoying at the beginning of the game, but, you know, she has a lot of character development. Yes, she has more character development than Lightning. Lightning, it takes like 3 games in order for her to actually, you know, become somebody, and Sarah, it's just 1 game. 3 fucking games in order for Lightning to actually become somebody and have personality. Sarah, just 1 game, and she already has personality in the beginning. Other than Fang, she's actually a really good character. Honestly, I think she's better than Fang, to be honest. I mean, yeah, Fang is a hot character, but Sarah is just, she's just, when you play the game and you understand her more, you actually get to like the character so much more because of what she goes through. And here's the best thing about Sarah. She does not become emo just because her parents died. She just stayed herself. Yeah, Lightning, her parents died, she becomes emo. And just because she wants to stay strong for his sister. No, that's completely retarded. Yeah, so that's why I say Sarah's a better character. She's kind-hearted, she's intelligent, she's a little bit quirky, but she has horrible taste in men. And I'm sorry to bring this up, but Sarah, you could have done so much better. The guy right next to you was so much more patient with you than the other guy that left you just to find your sister and probably fuck her. But that's probably for another video, but yeah, Sarah is actually a good character. So let's move on to the next one, because the next one I couldn't decide between Jill or Celis. Oh, Jill, I had so much high hopes for you. You're a great character. You're amazing. I love you. You're the best Shiva in the entirety of the Final Fantasy franchise. But the thing is that you cannot play as her, and that disappointed me so much because I actually really like the character. She is incredibly gorgeous. The way she turns into Shiva, the way she is with Clive, the way she just goes through hell just to save people. How can you hate this character? She's beautiful. She reminds me so much of Tifa. Between her and Celis, I really couldn't decide who should be higher or lower. It's just like, this game, I had so much high hopes, and I could make a video about why Final Fantasy 16 is a flop to me, but right now I want to talk about Jill, and Jill alone, and why I love her. Not only is she beautiful, but she has a beautiful theme. Like, My Star is a beautiful theme for her, and it captures her so much. The way she's devoted to Clive, and she helps him throughout the entirety of the game, but you cannot play as her, and that's something that bothered me because I actually really like this character. She was a slave to the Empire until Clive saved her, and you actually understand her why she became a slave to the Empire and why she became a dominant. Her father hated her and sold her off, and now she's stuck with Clive, which is a good thing because Clive actually helped her so much. I felt so bad for her. Honestly, like, I just wanted to give her a big hug for all the things that she goes through. And I know you're probably wondering, why is she so high on the list if she's not playable? It's because of what she goes through, that's why. Her Shiva form. Ugh, Shiva form is just so fucking hot. Why, Square Enix? Why do you do this to me? Why couldn't I just play at this beautiful goddess right here? Why is it only Clive? I wanted to play as her too. Yeah, because I was playing the game. I was actually having fun, and Jill was like right there. She was right there. She was just doing everything on auto, and I was like, can I switch as Jill? But no, you can't. And that's what sucks, that you cannot play as her. That's why I'm like, angry about it, because I wanted to play as her. She's so cool. And she's fucking hot. Like, I'm sorry, but God, man, she, like, her face and her hair, it just reminds me of Tifa. A lot like Tifa. But, we can't play as her. Fuck, man. So yeah, she was a slave to the Empire, and, she also wanted to be somebody, and it reminds me of another character. A character that was a slave to the Empire and wanted to be herself, and that character is from Final Fantasy VI, and you already know that I'm going to talk about Celes because they're basically sort of like the same character. Just like Jill, she was also a slave to the Empire, and she wanted to be someone, and she wanted to be accepted by people. But Celes is written in a better way that I don't even know how to explain. Final Fantasy VI girls are built different. Her and Terra suffered so much, especially Terra, and Terra's gonna be way higher up. Yes, I'm going to get to Terra later, but I want to talk about Celes right now. Celes actually almost killed herself because the only person that was actually left alive on the deathbed was the only person she could actually lean onto, because she thought that everybody else was dead. And when she finds out that Locke is alive because of the bird, she has to go search for the entirety of the planet just to find her friends so everybody could come together and destroy Kefka. It's very sad that she almost killed herself, and that's probably the most powerful moments in Final Fantasy history, is where she almost died, but luckily she didn't. Thankfully she did not, because I actually felt very bad for this character. I was worried about Celes. She is an amazing secondary protagonist, and the moments between her and Locke just brings out so much more character out of her. They made an entire opera scene just for her alone, and even though she's not an amazing singer, she's still an amazing character. So between her and Jill, I really couldn't decide who should be higher up. And Celes is a perfect example of a secondary protagonist and an amazing character. An amazing female character. And the best part is that you actually get to play as her. So yeah, that's the only reason why she's higher up than Jill, because you actually get to play as Celes. Well, it's not only that, but it's the opera scene too that just makes her even better. If they ever remake this game, for the love of God, please. I want to see more of her backstory, because Celes is probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters ever. Okay, let's move on to the next character. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to be mad because she's not high on the list, but next character is... Yes, Tifa is next, because I've made a video about why I love Tifa, but here's the thing about Tifa. Her entire character is just basically waiting to save Cloud for the live stream. It's just basically protecting Cloud. That's it. Yes, she's a beautiful character. Yes, we love her. Yes, she is a sweetheart. But that's the entirety of her character, is just protecting Cloud and waiting for that moment in the live stream. Yes, she does have some other characteristics, like basically helping Aerith and taking down Shinra, and getting revenge on the people that, destroyed her family and basically destroyed her home. She's good at kicking ass. I like that she's not really like the jealous type in the remake. But what is there more to say about Tifa? Nothing else more to say. She's a cool character. I love her. But she's not really really high on the list. Yes, she's a cool character. An amazing one. Yes, she is also the heroine of Final Fantasy VII. But she serves more of a love interest than, like Aerith, where she has a more important role. There is nothing more to say about Tifa. That is all I have to say about her. She doesn't really serve a big purpose in the story like Aerith does. But yet, I love Tifa, because she's cool. And she's a sweetheart. And she's there for Cloud, so yeah. She gave him a home. That's all I gotta say. There's nothing else. Sorry, Tifa Gooners. There's just nothing more to say about Tifa. Although she does have a nice set of titties, so I guess I'll give her that. But that's all I gotta say about Tifa, so let's move on. So the next one is Yuna. And Yuna is probably by far one of the top 3 best Final Fantasy female heroines ever, because of the big role she serves in this game. She is the protagonist. I would say Tidus, but I think Yuna actually has a bigger role in the story than Tidus does. Yeah, a lot of people say that Tidus also serves a big purpose, but it's not really until the end. Yuna's sole purpose is basically sending these lost souls back to the afterlife. And here is the saddest thing about it. The thing is that once she gets all these eidolons, all these summons, she has to be sacrificed so everybody in Spira could live a happy life. Yeah, so that's probably one of the reasons why she doesn't really smile much for the entirety of the game, because she knows that she's going to be sacrificed, and she doesn't want to do it, but she has to, because that's the entirety of her journey, is basically just trying to make everybody happy. And that's why when she has her breakdown in the lake scene, she just can't help it anymore. She doesn't want to die, but she has no choice. She is by far one of the most prettiest characters in Final Fantasy history. And her journey of, becoming a self-sacrifice character, and has one of the best purposes in Final Fantasy history about who she is and what she wants to do instead of becoming a self-sacrifice character. Because here's the thing, she has to grab all these summons, and then she has to die, and then she has to marry a guy that doesn't really care about her, just for the people of Spira to actually have happiness for once. She is kind of bland, and I'm so tired of the bland characters being heroines, but the thing is that once you understand why she's like that, it's because, of the shit that she's going through. And the ending just hits so much harder because Tidus was the person that actually helped her throughout this whole journey. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why Yuna is probably on my top 3 list of Final Fantasy heroines. A soul-crushing character with an amazing story plot. She's adorable too, but it isn't until the second game where she just feels a little bit better. I like her more in the second game. She's got character. But the thing is that this game fucking sucks. Okay, let's move on to the last 2. Because the last 2, I could not decide who was best girl. Yes, Aerith. And there's more shit to say about Aerith. The most important character in Final Fantasy VII. I know, look, Tifa Gooners, relax. I understand that you like Tifa a lot. But Tifa's purpose is just basically saving Cloud. Aerith's purpose is basically helping the entire planet. A dorky, spunky character that makes the other heroines seem so fucking bland and boring. Like Yuna, and there's also Ash and Garnet, and Rinoa's kind of boring too, but she's whatever. I have mixed feelings about Rinoa. But Aerith, she just tops every other Final Fantasy girl. Except for one, but she's last on the list. The amount of fun I have with this character, I love her more in the remake than the original game. Aerith is the most complex character in Final Fantasy VII. She has to save the planet. She's there for everybody. She's a spunky character that when she dies, it's just the party just feels off. She ships Cloud and Tifa, but even though I like Cloud and Aerith too, she ships Cloud and Tifa. She helps Cloud to get rid of his antisocial tendencies because Cloud is such an ass at times. Look, skip ahead if you want because I'm not gonna shut up about this girl. She is the florist. She's adorable. She's basically a Disney princess. And I'm not even done talking because there's way more shit I have to say about Aerith. If it weren't for her, everybody on the planet will be dead. Aerith died for your sins and people hate her. There is zero reason to hate Aerith. There is no reason to hate her whatsoever. She's a fun character, really fun. She cares about everybody on the team. She has very powerful magic attacks. She's just I just want to hold her so much. She's so cute. Unlike the other Final Fantasy heroines, which wants to be saved and basically need help, this girl, she wants to help the protagonist. And she looks good in any outfit, just like Tifa. Aerith's character is basically, being tortured since she was a little girl. She was forced to help Shinra find the promised land, and she doesn't even know what the hell that is. And even if she's mentally tortured, she's still an amazing character. Spunky character with a great personality. Even though she does make Tifa a little bit jealous, she still cares about her a lot. She is the Jesus of Final Fantasy VII. It just sucks that she dies, man. I actually want her to be more on the team. What I don't like is that how she is in Crisis Core. I do not like her in Crisis Core. She's such a boring-ass character. They downgraded her character in Crisis Core, but in, the remake, she's actually a fun character. I do not want to let go of her whatsoever because of how fun this character is. But what is there more to say about Aerith? She's a great character, fun personality. She serves a big purpose in the story, the most important character, adorable, funny, a smartass, perfect girl, my opinion. Okay, let's move on to the last one, and probably the most important Final Fantasy female character in the entirety of Final Fantasy history. Yes, Terra is the most important Final Fantasy heroine in Final Fantasy history. If it weren't for her, there wouldn't even be an Aerith, because Aerith was basically designed with the same backstory as Terra. Not only is she the most important character in Final Fantasy history, but she is basically the cutest and the most adorable one. Just like a certain florist that we know. I mean, they gave her the same outfit for the same reason, because she was based on Terra. But I'm not here to compare, I'm here to say why Terra is the most important and #1 Final Fantasy heroine to this day. Is because she has a really compelling backstory and a very fucked up backstory. She was stolen by the Empire when she was a baby, and she does not remember who the hell she is because of Kefka has brainwashed her and basically forced her to become his slave. She is extremely bland at first because you have to understand that she does not have any sort of emotion because she doesn't even know what that is. She was just basically becoming a slave to the Empire. She doesn't even remember who the hell she is. She has amnesia for the entirety of, like, half of the game. It isn't until Shadow brings it up that she has to find out what her own love is. She tries so hard to find out what that is, and it is until the end of the game that she finally finds out what love really is. It isn't romantic love that she finds. What she finds is platonic love. She's a maternal figure for these lost kids that lost their homes. Thankfully, it wasn't romantic love, because I thought it was gonna go there. Such a different breath of fresh air to see that a heroine does not find romantic love. Well, to be honest, who wouldn't find her attractive? I mean, even Sephiroth over here thinks that she's hot. I mean, not just Sephiroth, but Kuja over here tries to hit on Terra as well, so, I mean, I wouldn't blame them. She's just so precious. Look at her. So yeah, I kinda understand why Amano Yoshitaka likes to draw her a lot. She doesn't have a lot of screen time, though. That's something I don't really like about Final Fantasy VI, that they don't really give her enough screen time. It's because there's too many characters. But they still did an amazing job for this a short amount of screen time that she had. She's still an amazing, fleshed out character. And that's why I say that Terra is the #1 female heroine in Final Fantasy history. It's because she is such an amazing character. She's such a cute character. Like, it's not just personality, but her looks too. Her outfit. Her outfit is something I always loved about Terra. And her voice too. If you play it in Japanese, she sounds way more better than she does in English. Well, that's all I gotta say about the Final Fantasy heroines from worst to best. And I say Terra is #1. So that's all I gotta say. So thank you for watching.